Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm making a new series on SvelteKit. I'm calling it SvelteKit 0. But 2 years ago, I made another series called SvelteKit Walkthrough, and I covered most of the basics here and some of the advanced concepts like server.js or group layouts, protected routes, and even user authentication, even sending emails from SvelteKit. So you can still find it and watch it. I recommend you watch it if you want to build something simple. In this series, however, I'm going to cover some of the topics that may have missed out, and also I will cover some of the latest developments in Svelte and SvelteKit. So yeah, there will be more videos coming. So let's begin. So we're gonna start with SvelteKit. So I have a directory called SvelteKit 0. So I'm gonna initialize a new app here by sv create. So I'm gonna use this directory, minimal, maybe JStalk. I want Tailwind and MGSpecs. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use these, but I think Tailwind I'm gonna use, and I'll use pnpm. Let's wait for it to install. In the meantime, I have the code here. I think I'm gonna serve it here. Okay, so we just have one page here. We have a layout which has this CSS imported. This CSS has the Tailwind classes. So let it be this way. Usually when I'm creating a new website, I will have the route layout to have nothing at all, even not CSS. I'll tell you why. But for now, let's keep it that way. So I'm gonna have one more page, maybe. I'll call this about, and then I'll have a page file here, and maybe a header. Okay, so it won't be styled, so it's all right. Now I'll have a navigation which lets me navigate from these pages quite easily. So I'll have a list item with an anchor tag home, and for about as well. Right. Now, yeah, I have this. I'll just style this a little bit. And maybe a little spacing. Yeah, so I can navigate between these pages. Now, SvelteKit is by default SSR. So it renders your page on the server side and then provides it or hydrates it on the browser. So whenever somebody makes a request, the HTML is already there. It doesn't get created in the browser. It's already there. So this is useful in case of SEO because these bots, they look for the website. They don't render it on a website. I mean, render it on a browser and look for the content. They'll just do some kind of, like, they will look for the text, right? Maybe like a curl request, and they will try to see if there is any content. So here I can clearly see, we have this content available for us. Even SEO crawlers will see this and they will update it or index it accordingly. So that is the main use of having the site SSR. But sometimes you may, it may cause problems. Let's say in your about page you have something like I'll just have something like this: window.crypto dot random UUID. So this will provide us a random UUID. If I go to about, yes, we have it. Now if I refresh, it's not gonna work because the server will not have any information about window, right? So since this code runs on the server side, it will get confused what is window, right? So in these cases, what we can do is we can actually tell SvelteKit that this should be client side or shouldn't be SSR'd. So export const SSR equals false. So you can do that in the server.js. I think there is a typo. Yeah, SSR false. Yeah, now there is no problem. So I'm in the about page. If I refresh, nothing happens. This is fine because if your app is, app depends on window object or something on the client side, and you're not worried about SEO, then this is fine. So it's kind of like a hybrid here. So we have SSR for some pages, we have CSR for some pages. So this is like a hybrid model, which is quite hard to get in other frameworks. But if you want the entire app to have, this feature, what you can do is you can just have layout.server.js. I'll just rename it and have the same thing. And all of this will be, let's say I'll have something like width dot inner height or inner width. Now this will still work. It is showing the width. If I refresh, there won't be any error, but again, as I showed you, there won't be anything server side rendered here. So for a bot or a search engine, it'll be a little difficult to read this. All right, so I'm gonna put it back as it was before, and I'll remove this. This is probably the first thing you should understand about SvelteKit. The next thing is how it builds a website. So here, if I go back here and do npm build, the build files will go inside this directory .svelte-kit. Now, if you haven't mentioned any adapter, there will be by default auto adapter, and it will generate these things, the output for node environment, this output. So here you will not find anything like index.html or anything, because this is meant for Node.js. Now, if you want something simple, like if you want to see HTML files, static files basically, you will have to make some changes. This is mostly like if you want to use SvelteKit as a static site generator, you can do this. So you'll have to install this adapter called adapter static. Now once you do that, you have to go here in config and change this to static, and we'll have to add a few things here. Not quite required. It should work without those settings, but let's see. Okay, now there is one more thing I would require here, which is layout.svelte.js. Now I should do export const prerender equals true. So this will make sure all the pages are pre-rendered. Now when I do npm build, we should have a directory outside which will have the build, but there is an error here. Files prefixed with plus are reserved. Okay, layout dot what svelte server.js. Okay, we should see a build directory here. So we do have these, index in report. Now if I cd to that build, I can do npx http server. This is a normal, HTTP server that will serve these htable files. And yeah, it works as expected, right? Now you can also do Jekyll server, I think, if you're coming from Jekyll. And this will be 4000. Okay, so there is some problem here with the CSS. Yeah, so since there is a directory with underscore in it, this may not work. We have to change this. So what we can do is here there's an option called app directory, and you can type any name, something like scripts or something. It'll change to that. So let me build first. Now, yeah, we have scripts. So now I can do Jekyll server. If I go back here, yeah, this time it works. Now, why, getting Jekyll to work? Why is this important? It's because if you want to host it on GitHub Pages, which is quite easy, we would want a Jekyll site, right? So this is basically a Jekyll site, but it has this name build, right? So there is a trick you can use, which you can host your SvelteKit app on GitHub Pages just by doing this rename. So let me show you. So what I'll do is I'll just get rid of this build. I will do pages here and mention to create it inside docs. Assets, also docs. And I think there will be a fallback 404.html. So this is, this is a 404 HTML that will be shown instead of GitHub's default 404. So that is that, and we'll need a base path as well. I think it's called, I don't know what it is, where it is mentioned. I think it's outside. Is it here? Path, maybe it's path. Yeah, paths. Base, yeah. And here we have to use something called, let me get the official documentation. I think this is fine. Yes, so here if you want to, you can go through this. I'll leave the link. This is what we want, base path. Now here, this base path, I'm already, this is actually your repository name. So I already decided that it's gonna be SvelteKit 0. When it is in development, we don't need anything as base. Once it is production, we want this as base. Okay, now that is done. There's one more thing we should do. Wherever we have these relative links, like here, so we have to use base, which will be from app paths. So let's have that. Yeah, this will not change anything. So if I do npm build, so there won't be much changes in this. Yeah, so there is a docs directory here, and everything is inside. There is a 404 created for us. Now I want to push this to a repository. I will push it and come back. All right, this is the repository. So I'll go to settings here and pages, and I'll do deploy from branch master, and I'll select docs and then save. Yeah, once I do this, it says your GitHub page site is currently being built from the docs folder. So I will have to wait a bit for this to build, and we'll come back once it is done. Okay, the site is ready, so I'm gonna visit this. Yeah, so this is the site that we had. It's the about page with SID. So everything works as usual, right? So we just hosted a simple SvelteKit app on GitHub without using any actions or anything, like just using a trick to have it in docs. All right, so this is it for this video. So I will be making more of these in this series. So I would like you to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.